like sharp minds, brewed hot, sure bra. No sugar, no filter. Sip, think, repeat, repeat.
Ever get that feeling like you really want to connect the dots on something? To see the bigger picture without having to read like a million articles? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're diving deep into the world of music, and we're talking centuries and continents here.
Yeah, think of this as your all-access pass to understanding the forces that have shaped the music we listen to today. We're going to be looking at everything from a street celebration in Paris that turned into this huge global movement to the way musical styles are born, evolve, influence our culture. We'll look at the wild ride that is pop music, and of course, the massive changes brought about by streaming.
So as we go through all these sources, our mission is to really pull out the fascinating insights, the stuff that makes you go, wow, I never thought of it like that. We want you to finish this feeling like you've got a much deeper understanding of how dynamic music is, how it all connects, how it all fits together.
Exactly. We want to uncover those unexpected twists and turns in the story of music and give you a clear picture of some of those key evolutions. We'll start by exploring the origins and global spread of the Fête de la Musique. Then we'll trace the lineage of music genres and see how they've blended and influenced one another. From there, we'll delve into the ever-changing world of pop music across the decades, and finally, we'll examine the impact of streaming on the whole music ecosystem.
Sounds like a plan. All right, let's rewind the clock back to Paris in 1982. Picture this. It's the longest day of the year, June 21st, the summer solstice, and the city is buzzing with a whole new energy. This was the birth of the Fête de la Musique, the brainchild of the French Ministry of Culture under Jacques Lang and Maurice Fleuret.
And what's really cool is the inspiration actually came from an American musician, Joel Cohen, who had this idea for solstice concerts. The whole idea was to democratize music, to make it accessible to everyone, and to give a platform to local talent. And picking June 21st, well, that was symbolic, a day to encourage free public performances by anyone and everyone, from professional musicians to, well, enthusiastic amateurs.
So it wasn't just about entertainment, it was about breaking down barriers, saying, hey, art isn't just for the elite.
Precisely. And that first fête in Paris, man, it sounds like the whole city just erupted in music. Streets turned into stages. Parks became jam sessions. People were playing music everywhere. It was this incredible, spontaneous outpouring of musical energy.
I can only imagine. So the Fête de la Musique, with that specific name, is still a big deal in France every June 21st. But that concept of free public music on that day, well, that really struck a chord around the world.
It did. Many countries embraced the idea, sometimes giving it different names like Make Music Day or World Music Day. You see this in the US, the UK, Italy, and Canada. So different names, but the same core spirit, that initial French vision really went global.
And we're not just talking about your neighbor's garage band, though I'm sure they rock too. Over the years, the Fête de la Musique has seen some pretty iconic moments. Concerts under the Louvre Pyramid, traditional Japanese music in the Place La Bastille, jazz filling the air at places like Sunset, Sunside.
Exactly. And it just goes to show you the power of music, its universality. It doesn't matter the genre, the instrument, the cultural background. Music just connects people.
Yeah.
And the Fête de la Musique, in all its variations around the world, really highlights that unifying power.
Thinking about the big picture here, what really stands out is just how inclusive it all is. It breaks down those genre walls and encourages everyone to participate, regardless of skill level. Whether you're a guitar virtuoso or just learning ukulele, there's a place for you.
Yeah, that inclusivity is key. It's not just about giving musicians a platform. It's about making the experience of music accessible to everyone, as listeners too. And if we connect this to a broader idea, think about how this kind of open celebration contributes to the cultural vibrancy of our cities.
It's like a citywide block party where everyone's invited.
Exactly. It attracts tourists and locals alike, turns everyday spaces into hubs of creativity and connection. It strengthens that sense of community and provides a platform for both local and international talent to be seen and heard.
It makes you wonder, how does this kind of open celebration of music affect how we view music and its place in our culture? And could the Fête de la Musique be a model for making other cultural events more inclusive and accessible?
That's a really important question. It makes you think about how breaking down those traditional performance barriers can really change our perception of art and who gets to be a part of it. And absolutely, the Fête de la Musique offers some valuable lessons in how to create inclusive and accessible cultural experiences.
And at its heart, it's a powerful reminder that music is a universal language, something that connects us all.
Absolutely. Now let's shift gears a bit and explore the fascinating world of music genres. It's like tracing the branches of a huge family tree, seeing how all these different styles emerge and influence one another.
It's kind of like a musical DNA test, right? Tracing those roots.
Exactly. And so much of the music we hear today can be traced back to the blues. It's deeply rooted in the African American experience in the southern U.S. Artists like B.B. King used their music to express raw emotion and tell stories, laying the groundwork for so many genres that followed.
And then in the 1950s, you had the explosion of rock and roll. Elvis Presley taking those blues influences, electrifying them, creating a sound that became the anthem for a generation of teenagers.
It was rebellious, full of energy, and really shook things up. And what's interesting is that rebellious spirit of early rock, it kind of echoes the later emergence of punk rock. Different sound, but a similar energy, a similar drive to challenge the status quo.
So that rebellious streak, it keeps popping up in different forms. But before rock and roll, even before that rebellious spirit, you had another genre taking shape, jazz. It emerged in the late 19th century, and it was all about improvisation and freedom of expression.
Right. Legends like Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington created these timeless pieces that continue to inspire. Think of improvisation as musical storytelling in the moment. Musicians creating melodies and rhythms on the spot, not just reading from a sheet of music.
It's like a conversation between the musicians, right? And you can hear that improvisational spirit in other genres too, like hip-hop. Emerging in the 1970s in the Bronx, hip-hop was this totally new form of musical expression, born out of specific socioeconomic conditions, giving voice to communities that were often marginalized.
Exactly. And artists like Kendrick Lamar and A Tribe Called Quest have shown how hip-hop can blend with jazz, creating these incredibly rich and layered soundscapes. It really shows this ongoing dialogue and evolution between different musical styles.
It's like they're borrowing from each other, inspiring each other. And it feels like in our increasingly interconnected world, those genre lines are becoming even more blurred. Globalization has brought so many different musical traditions into the mix, hasn't it?
It has. We're seeing this really exciting rise of hybrid genres. Electronic music, for example, has fused with rock, jazz, even traditional African music. Think of artists like Daft Punk and The Weeknd. They're pushing those boundaries, creating these completely new sonic experiences that resonate globally.
And then you have world music, with artists like Manu Chao and Peter Gabriel who weave together diverse cultural elements in their music.
It's like creating this beautiful tapestry of global sounds. And it's important to remember that music isn't just sound. It's deeply connected to culture and society.
Right. Like think about grunge in the 90s with bands like Nirvana. That music captured the angst of a generation, those feelings of frustration and anxiety.
Exactly. Music often acts as a mirror, reflecting what's happening in society. Punk rock was a reaction against the establishment, a sonic rebellion. And then you have traditional music, like flamenco in Spain or reggae in Jamaica, which play a vital role in preserving cultural heritage, telling stories, and passing on knowledge from one generation to the next.
It's about more than just entertainment. It's about history, culture, identity.
Exactly. When you look at the bigger picture, the evolution of music genres isn't just a random collection of sounds. It's a story of fusion, innovation, and a deep reflection of cultural forces and social change. It encourages you to think about the history and the journey behind the music you love.
Now let's focus on one particularly captivating area of music, pop music. It's this constantly changing phenomenon that has captivated audiences for decades.
It has. If we go back to the 1950s and 60s, that's really the birth of what we now know as pop music. The explosion of rock and roll, with icons like Elvis Presley, was a huge catalyst. And then the British invasion in the 60s, led by the Beatles, completely changed the game. They redefined pop stardom with their catchy melodies and sonic experimentation. They really laid the foundation for so much of what came after.
The Beatles were game changers for sure. And then the 70s arrived, and it was all about diversification, disco, funk, glam rock. Donna Summer ruled the dance floors, James Brown brought those infectious funk rhythms, and you had artists like David Bowie and Queen with their theatrical, adventurous glam rock.
It was a time of great musical exploration, and it felt like pop music was really starting to reflect the broader social and cultural changes happening at the time.
And then, bam, the 80s hit, and it was the era of synthesizers and larger-than-life pop stars like Michael Jackson and Madonna, and MTV with those revolutionary music videos helped catapult these artists to global fame. And let's not forget the electronic sounds of bands like Depeche Mode and Duran Duran, defining the sound of the decade.
The 80s were all about that pop extravagance, and then the 90s brought a bit of a contrast. You had grunge with its raw, alternative sound, coexisting with the continued dominance of pop divas like Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, and Britney Spears.
It was this interesting mix of rebellion and mainstream appeal.
It showed just how versatile pop music can be.
Mm-hmm.
Then moving into the 2000s, we saw the rise of boy bands like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, but also the growing influence of hip-hop on mainstream pop. Artists like Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Eminem really blurred those genre lines. And, of course, digital downloads and early streaming started to change the game.
And then the 2010s and beyond, it's like pop music just embraced everything. Electronic dance music exploded, indie pop and synth pop became huge, and artists like Taylor Swift and Adele kept pushing the boundaries of contemporary pop. And we can't forget about the global impact, with K-pop groups like BTS and Stray Kids becoming major players on the world stage.
Globalization has really brought so many international sounds into the pop mainstream. It's interesting how these global sounds are now competing directly with Western productions. And what's also important is how pop music actively shapes culture, everything from social movements to fashion trends. Artists are increasingly using their platforms for activism and connecting with fans in really direct ways through social media.
So pop music isn't just entertainment, it's a force for change.
Absolutely. Today's pop landscape is incredibly diverse, innovative, and constantly evolving, drawing on influences from all over the world and continually breaking down genre barriers.
So pop music has come a long way, from its rock and roll roots to the digital superstars of today. It's this incredible story of constant innovation, diversity, and significant cultural influence. And it just keeps on evolving, captivating us, and reflecting, and even driving societal changes.
It's a genre that's always reinventing itself, while still managing to capture those universal emotions and catchy melodies that resonate with so many. Now, finally, let's talk about how we actually experience all this amazing music in the modern world. The rise of streaming has completely revolutionized things, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, think about it. Platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, they've changed everything about how we listen to music. We've gone from buying physical albums or digital files to having instant access to millions and millions of songs at our fingertips. And the numbers tell the story. Global recorded music revenue reached $26.2 billion in 2024, and a whopping 67% of that came from streaming. It's wild to think about how we used to spend hours in record stores just hoping to find something new. Now we have algorithms for that.
Yeah, for better or for worse. And it's not just about having everything instantly available. It's about how we discover new music. The algorithms on these platforms have become these incredibly powerful tastemakers.
Yeah, they're like the new DJs curating our playlists.
Exactly. Playlists like Spotify's New Music Friday or Apple Music's Today's Hits, they can really make or break an artist. They have a huge influence on what we end up listening to.
It's like they're shaping the soundtrack to our lives. And this has had a real impact on which genres are popular, right? What we see trending on streaming platforms is a direct reflection of changing musical tastes.
You got it. In the U.S., hip-hop and R&B are currently dominating streams, making up about 27.7% of the total. Rock is still going strong at around 20%. But what's also really cool is how these platforms allow even niche genres, like lo-fi beats or neoclassical, to find their audiences through those clever recommendation algorithms.
Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. How all of this affects the artists themselves. The economics of streaming have been a hot topic for a while.
They have, and for good reason. The average payout per stream on Spotify, for example, is pretty tiny. It's around 0.0034812. This means artists need to rack up millions upon millions of streams to earn any substantial income. While big names like Taylor Swift and Drake definitely benefit from the sheer volume of streams, independent artists often rely heavily on touring and merchandise sales to make ends meet.
It's like a whole new world for musicians trying to navigate this streaming landscape.
It is. And streaming has also created a new kind of chart dynamic. It's not just about the latest releases anymore.
Right, those classic hits and albums are still holding strong.
Exactly. We see classic albums and back catalog titles staying high on the charts, which can make it tougher for newer artists to break through and get noticed. Iconic artists like Queen and Fleetwood Mac are consistently ranking high, showing that these older works still resonate strongly with a huge audience on streaming platforms.
It's like they found a new life on streaming. But streaming has also made music more accessible globally. Someone in almost any part of the world can instantly listen to the latest track from their favorite artist.
That's one of the most positive aspects of streaming. It's democratized music access globally and has played a big role in the rising popularity of international genres like K-pop, reggaeton, and Afrobeats. It really highlights the borderless nature of music in today's digital world.
It's amazing to see how music from all over the world is connecting with people everywhere.
It is. So when you step back and look at the big picture, streaming has had this massive impact on the music industry. It's changed how we consume music, how artists are discovered and paid, and even the types of music that become popular. Algorithms and playlists are like the new gatekeepers, shaping the musical tastes of millions.
It's a revolution with both incredible opportunities and significant challenges. Well, that brings our deep dive to an end. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the origins of the Fête de la Musique to the ever-changing world of pop and the powerful impact of streaming.
We have. We've seen how the Fête de la Musique showed the power of inclusivity and how a simple idea can spread globally. The evolution of music genres highlighted the constant blending and how music reflects and influences culture. Pop music's journey showcased its continuous reinvention and its role in shaping cultural trends. And finally, streaming revealed its transformative yet complex impact on how we access and value music.
It really emphasizes that music isn't just a static art form. It's this living, breathing reflection of society. It's a force for change, and it's a constant source of diversity and innovation.
Absolutely. And it leaves us with some important questions to consider. How do we navigate the growing influence of algorithms while ensuring musical authenticity and genuine artist discovery? And how can we create a fairer system of compensation for artists in this world dominated by streaming?
Those are some big questions. Hopefully this deep dive has given you a new appreciation for the ever-changing and fascinating world of music. Thanks for joining us.
Cappuccino, white crock, mines, brewed hot, served raw. No sugar, no filter. Sip, think, repeat.